Hey everyone, so this is my review of Wisdom of the Crowd Season 1, Episode 2, called In the Wild. And essentially what this episode is about is that new footage is picked up on Sophie in the way of a photograph that it was taken 5 months prior to Jeffrey Tanner's daughter's murder, where in this picture the daughter is being strong-armed by some mysterious man. And while that's going on, Tanner also decides to sort of help out in a case surrounding a missing child. And this was a really, really entertaining and really nice and interesting episode that I just loved every moment that was around the whole missing child and how they went around solving the case using Sophie. Just all of that was so interesting to see. And I did really enjoy that they did have another moment in this episode where it's a member of the crowd sort of not listening to all the warnings and not doing all this stuff, and he's actually like going out and like solving all this stuff himself to sort of help out even farther than what they've already done. And just that was really interesting to see how he did discover new evidence and how he did do all this stuff. But I really wish that they would have gone into a bit more detail with him. Like saying, oh, maybe he's not just a member of this school that the kid went to, but he was actually like one of like the kid's favorite teachers or something like that to add to the character. I'd really like to see. And then I also enjoyed them using when they did discover like the possible location of this boy, that he's in like this somehow like 500-yard perimeter or something like that in the woods. And they're trying to figure out how to narrow all that down, that they use the crowdsourcing and stuff like that to locate a bunch of like hikers or campers or scientists who like recognize the area to sort of have them pinpoint if they were in this predicament, which direction, where would they possibly end up, and how that was all grouped together to find the location of him eventually was just really, really interesting, and I just really enjoyed that moment as a whole. I do, however, wish that they would have had a bit more serious ending to this episode, because it ended on such a happy note of them discovering the boy, and then, yes, there was a bit of Jeffrey being saddened that this family got a moment to get a second chance to be with their son again, and he didn't get that moment with his daughter. So it ended on a kind of sad note, but overall it was much more happier than I thought it should be. Because they should have a little bit of something with like the repercussions of this boy cheating and all like this repercussions of all the terrible things that this kid did that was talked about in this episode, but we never got to see him get punished for it. And I don't think he probably would have in the way that this episode ended, because they ended on such a happy note that, oh yeah, he's been saved and like everything was forgiven for him because he was rescued and is alive and stuff like that. So it was just a little odd to me that they didn't show any of those repercussions that this kid should have gotten for all the terrible things that he did. And then all the moments surrounding the new evidence of Jeffrey's daughter was interesting, with how all that sort of played out and who all fit into there. And I just really loved the moment where Jeffrey's ex-wife was constantly asked questions about her opinions on the case, and does she truly think that her daughter's killer's still out there and stuff like that. And then like the final moments of her giving like this interview where she was supposed to say that she doesn't believe anything that her ex-husband's doing and stuff like that. Then instead she changed her opinion and says like, look, I'm not sure on all this stuff yet, but I will tell you when I have my opinion and when I've formed what I truly think. And that was just amazing how she worded it and how she did all that stuff. I just really love her as a character for what she said. And then I really want to know what information the guy who was arrested and punished for the crime of the murder, what possible things that he knows, because in this episode it was revealed even more that he might know something that he's not sharing. And I just really, really want to know what that is and how it all is going to play into the grander scheme of things. And just overall, this was a really, really entertaining and really, really interesting episode to watch. And I'm just so curious to see where they're going to take all this stuff next. So, yeah, that's my review of Wisdom of a Crowd, Season 1, Episode 2, called In the Wild. So, yeah.